folks, and welcome. My name is Christopher Carr, also known as Natural Body Man, and today we have a presentation on the benefits of high-intensity interval training. Basically, it's training at a very high intensity, somewhere around 85% to 90% or higher of your maximal exertion. For the purposes of this video, I'll be focusing and giving my examples demonstrating running, something with running, sprinting. But also you can equate what we're talking about today also with bicycling or with swimming. Something like that, like a cardiovascular workout that you'll do on your own, and we'll go really hard for like anywhere from 5 seconds to like 30 seconds, giving you maximum output, versus doing like a jog, where you'll do a jog for like 20 or 30 minutes, and it'll be high. It'll be, you know, like 7 or 8 miles an hour, whatever you can do. Some people can jog 10 miles an hour. They can do a 5-6 minute mile, but continuously for 20 minutes. So we're going to compare the two. What is more easy, effective, and efficient in time management skills? Is it going to be the high intensity training, where you only run hard for 5 seconds to 30 seconds? Or is it going to be the jog, where you're running for 20 minutes or even longer? Okay? Now, when doing high intensity training, as an example, a lot of teams, like football teams in America and soccer teams, you'll normally, when you get the ball, you'll run hard for about 5 seconds, and then in soccer, you'll just slowly jog for the next 40 seconds. And in football, the play is over after about 5 seconds, and you start walking around on the field, figuring the next play, and the referee gets the call. So you basically have a 1:8 rest ratio, because if it's 5 seconds hard, 40 seconds, you divide 40 divided by 5 and you get 8. So you train hard for 5 seconds, and then you rest for the next 35 seconds. A track runner who's a sprint runner, they run hard for, let's say, 5 to 10 seconds. You're in the 40-yard dash, you run it in 5 seconds. So then you take about at least a 25-second break to recover. Maybe, you know, even longer. When you're doing this at a fairly elite level, you want to take a couple minutes. But the purposes of this video is more for the beginner or the intermediate person, advanced, that is just doing this on your own. You just want to jog around in your neighborhood, and you'd like to get a lot of benefits out of what athletes do. And instead of running, jogging for a long time and wearing away your knee joint and your heels on your feet and your feet and your ankle joint and your spine and your back, you can conserve your body and train at a much harder intensity and get just as good of results, if not better. Different work to rest ratios. Basically, for a 5-second run, you would have 25 seconds where you would slowly walk if you were out jogging in the neighborhood. So 5 to 1. You could even make it more, but I'd recommend around that level once you're steadily into it. In your beginning, you may want to do 5 seconds hard and then rest 40 seconds. And you can get a stopwatch. You get a little stopwatch, or you use your watch, and you say, all right, it's 1 o'clock right now, and you set it. And then you set the seconds, and then you run and you look at the clock once it's about 4 or 5 seconds, and then you slowly stop. Don't break too hard, because that could put stress on your feet. And if at all applicable, it's greater to run on grass, better for the feet, cushioning, or sand. A lot easier for your feet. These work to rest ratios, once you get more skilled and you're more advanced and you're running at higher mile per hour, you'll want to take a longer work to rest ratio, because you're going at a much higher intensity output. Your body's working a lot harder, and it needs a little bit more of a break in order to really give 100% for the next run. A lot of track runners, what they'll do is you can run for 5 seconds, and then you take a rest for about 25-30 seconds, or just runners in general, and you repeat this over and over and over. And you could go for basically like 10 runs, 10 5-second runs. In the beginning, you just do 5. And then in week 2, you get to 8. Week 3, you get to 10. Week 4, you get to 10. And then you could plan it out, you know, how you're going to custom design your program. Um, Another thing, how often do you do it? How many days a week? When you're just beginning, just one time a week. And also, I might add that you want to be, you don't want to be overweight. That's okay. If you're kind of overweight, like overweight, like 40 pounds overweight, then I wouldn't recommend too high intensity. You need to lose some of that weight first. If you got an average body style, not that fat, less than 30% body fat, you should be good. Okay? And you can do this basically, it's good to do sprint intervals like 2 times a week. And you could do other cardiovascular intervals. You could run like 20 minutes or 10 minutes or just a slow jog. A couple other days a week. Or very fast jogging for 30 seconds. And if the longer that you are working out, like the longer you are running, like let's say you're running for 30 seconds, then you don't need as big as of a work to rest ratio. Like 30 seconds, you may only need 3 times that. So 3 times 30 seconds is 1.5 minutes. So you would walk for like 1.5 minutes, kind of slow, and then you would proceed from there and do it again. And you'd run again for 30 seconds hard. But notice that the less you run, like 5 seconds, you take at least 25 seconds, maybe even up to 40 seconds. Because it takes a lot more to recover when you rev your engine real hard. Okay? So, the intensity's up there, 100%. Frequency, 1 time a week for beginners, 2 to 3 times a week for those that are more advanced. Okay? And you could bump it up. You could do like one day, like Monday, you could do 5-second sprints, and you could do like 10 of them. You set your stopwatch, and in the beginning, you could just warm up with a 5-minute walk, and then you proceed to do your intervals. Run hard 5 seconds, then 30-second break, 25-second break, do it again. And then after you complete 10, then you walk it off. And before you work out, I recommend personally that you do a good stretch. I rather do high intensity running than jogging, low intensity, jogging for 20, 30 minutes in a row. Don't get me wrong, I love jogging. I mean, I really do. I get a great runner's high up here, but it's a lot of wear and tear in the joints. And if you're seriously going to do it, I recommend doing it on grass or on the sand on the beach. And you'll notice if you go on the beach, you'll get a lot more traction in the toes because you get a lot more innervation when you're running barefoot and your toes grip the sand. And you'll notice the calves are going to get a lot more sore. It's going to be an intense workout. It's good. It's good. Okay, so we have 2 studies. The major study that I'm going to be focusing on is the one that the American College of Sports Medicine published back in 2008. 2 authors by the name of Gilba and McGee basically did a study which is called the Metabolic Adaptations to Short-Term High-Intensity Interval Training. A little pain for a lot of gain. And basically what they did was they recruited healthy college-age students, guys and girls. Most likely they were in the exercise department, so they were very healthy, much healthier sect of the college student population. And they put them in 2 groups. They had one group which is the control group, and this group would just cycle for 40 to 60 minutes a day, 5 days a week. Okay? And they took initial resting values as to their volume of oxygen, the hardest that they could cycle. They call it the VO2 peak. That's the exercise terminology. Your maximum amount of oxygen that you can inhale and exhale, basically in like a 2 to 3 minute range window. That's basically what it is at a high intensity output, at a high energy output. And then they took another group, okay, of equal athleticism, and they put them in a high intensity training program. And if the bicycle that they put them on is basically called the Wingate bicycle. And it's really hard to pedal because as you're pedaling, they drop this weight based upon how much you weigh and your gender. And so you're pedaling against an extreme amount of resistance. So in the beginning, you're pumping and pedaling as hard as you can. And it's only for 30 seconds. And man, I'm telling you, you are on fire. And you freaking run. It's almost like it's like sprinting really hard for 30 seconds. All you got. Your butt is going to be so sore after that. So you're doing that, and 30 seconds, and then they take a 4-minute rest break, and then they do it again. Each student will do it again after a 4-minute rest break, and then they do it 4 to 6 times in one day. So let's say an average of 5 times. times 30 seconds. Okay? So basically that's 2.5 minutes each day, 3 days a week. Okay? That's 7.5 minutes training total. 7.5 minutes a week of high intensity training. Again, I recommend that you stretch deep, stretching your legs, your spine deep, holding each stretch 45 seconds before and after to ensure no injuries or less likeliness for injuries, big time. Also, I recommend a lot of sleep, okay? They didn't really go into this, but I'm just giving it to you as this. Get a lot of sleep to recover your muscle tissue and eat your protein so your muscle is going to recover, okay? You don't have to eat tremendous amounts like they put in all those magazines, eat 200 to 300 grams of protein a day, no. But, the average person is going to want to consume, about 100 grams of protein, about 100 grams of protein on your workout days, and you're going to want to get 8 hours of sleep. Anytime you're training really hard, you're going to want to get 8 to 10 hours of sleep. 8. If you're working tremendously hard, a little bit more. If you shortchange your sleep, you shortchange your recovery, and you increase your likeliness for injury. 7.5 minutes a week of high intensity training. Now let's look at the other group. The other group basically did an average of 50 minutes, 5 days a week. That's almost an hour. So that's 4.5 hours a week of training versus 7 minutes. Guess who got better results this far? Tremendous better results, like way past it. It was the high intensity training group. It was the group that trained for only 7.5 minutes. They blew the other group away in their progress with they're able to hold work capacity. They were able to double the amount of cycling they could do at a hard intensity output of 80%. Before the study, they tested them, and the high intensity group could only cycle for 26 minutes at an 80% intensity output of their maximum intensity. And after only 2 weeks, this is a 6-week study, after 2 weeks, they were able to double that to 51 minutes in 2 weeks. That's awesome. That's only 6 weeks. Awesome. Totally awesome. Okay? Now the other group, the control group, basically the same. Went up maybe about 5, 10, 15%. That was it. Wasn't really... The results really weren't given, but they weren't... They weren't anything to mention. And... some other things to note is that this group, also the high intensity, they gained more muscle mass, and they gained the enzymes, the oxidative enzymes. That's every cell has a mitochondria that has oxygen that it uses as an energy source, and increased that big time markers of an increase in the high intensity group. The ability to use oxygen for their high intensity workouts. And they were also able to gain more muscle mass and have a much higher respiratory capacity, okay, and work capacity after 6 weeks, big time. Okay, so the results speak for themselves. The high intensity group did phenomenal. And if you've never really done high intensity training, you never ran hard for 5 seconds or ran hard for 10 seconds and then recovered anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute and then did it over and over, you will be surprised, my friend. You will be surprised. And again, I want to add that you stretch before and after, get your sleep, and also check out our performance enhancers section on nutrient timing about taking in sugars and protein. That goes into the specifics of how you can really bump up your results and how hard you run. And the faster you run, the more results, the better your body, strength, power, speed, even the look, the shape, it's all there. Another study they did on rats. Okay, I know you animal activists don't want to hear this. They didn't kill them or anything, okay? But basically, they had them swim. 2 different groups of rats, healthy rats, and one group, they had them swim hard for less than 5 minutes, 7 days a week. So that's an investment of 35 minutes or less a week, every single day, 7 days a week. Now the other group of rats, they had them train at low intensity swimming 6 hours a day. Oh man, that's a lot of freaking swimming. Man, for 7 days a week. So that's 42 hours of training a week, of swimming a week for these rats, these poor freaking rats. What are they doing? Now the other rats, again, did less than 35 minutes. And guess who got better results? as far as their breathing mechanics in their body. The high-intensity interval training rats. Those rats, they got way better results. Way better. As far as your skeletal muscle oxidative capacity, this thing that they take note of, the citrate synthase, it's a marker that you're able to discern your respiratory total maximal ability in inhaling and exhaling oxygen and your efficiency and your growth in that. And both of those rats in different groups, for the control group for 42 hours a week, and the one for less than 35 minutes a week, 5 minutes a day or less, 7 days a week, they had basically the same progress, okay, at the end of their study. Same amount of progress for a way less investment. So, as we can see here, not only with humans, but with animals, it works the same. So, basically, conclusion is high-intensity training is a far better method of training when getting results in the quickest, most efficient time. Very effective, very efficient, and it's easy, but it's hard. It's simple, but it's hard because it's going to really push yourself. Okay? I recommend if you're just beginning to not run as hard as you can, give it about 90 to 85%. Okay, just to get used to it, because you are going to hit your muscles in a different way with a very fast motion, explosiveness, and fast. And if you're not used to that, and if you've just been watching TV for the last couple of years and just not exercising, then don't hit it hard. Safety first. Okay. After a month or two, you'll be able to give a much harder output. You'll be able to push a lot harder. And if you have anybody who's a friend who's a runner or anything, talk to them about this before you start. That way, you got the guidance from me, and this is great. But it's always good to have all your resources. Okay. So have them. You can run with them a couple times. And I'm sure anybody who's a track runner, especially one that was a sprinter, or 400 meters or less, basically 400 meters is a quarter mile around a track or less, they'll know the benefits of this and just how good it is. If you take a look at the runners, like marathon runners versus 100-meter runners, which are just running a quarter lap around the quarter track, you'll notice how much more muscular the sprinters are, how much less body fat they have because they're using sugars a lot higher intensity output. A marathon runner or somebody who's running for, basically 10, 15, 20 minutes or longer, they're going to use fat as their primary energy source. So they're going to need to store fat. So you're not going to get like the best body doing that. You could get a great body still when you're incorporating your weightlifting and everything, but pound per pound, ounce for ounce, your hardcore running, that's where it's at. Or cycling or swimming. Get some great benefits. And you can mix it up too. You could have days where you do these longer runs and you can still make a lot of benefit out of it. Personally, myself, I do high intensity running anywhere from an average about twice a week, coupled with my workouts. And I'll do an average of 3 days working out a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, for like a month. Then there'll be some months where I'll do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, a 4-day split. And, I switch up the workouts too. But you can phase it in with this. There's a lot that goes with this also because when you're doing your running, you'll want to do running first. If you're doing your high-intensity sprinting, you'll want to do these sprints first before working out with weights. It's better to do fast, explosive movements first before working out with weights. That's very important. And you can also do them on the day when you're not working out with weights, okay? If you hit the gym real hard and did a bunch of squats, you did squats or deadlifts or something very taxing on the body, then you want at least 48 hours recovery before you start sprinting. So a lot of runners, what they'll do is they'll just do the sprinting for a month without really touching weights much or doing anything really taxing on the body. They'll do more assistance exercises like leg curls, or something that's not so taxing like really heavy squats or anything. But anyways, I want to thank you very much for watching the video. I see I've got a friend here. How you doing, buddy? See, these dogs, they love to sprint. They love to sprint a lot. So I want to thank you very much for watching. My name is Chris with Natural Body Man. And remember, have fun and exercise. Yeah!